This hour by Frederick Remington, fully cooked, ready-to-eat bacon. Exclusive, no refrigeration, 10-year extended shelf life bacon. The thickest, meatiest center-cut bacon in the industry at fullycookedbacon.com.
9818. Again, 800-261-9818. The stocks discussed on Wall Street Raw are not in any way a recommendation or solicitation to buy, sell, or hold. If considering on acting on information, we first recommend you seek out a competent, licensed professional for advice.
What kingdom has sent you?
The kingdom of the Most High.
Nothing you have ever experienced can prepare you for the unbridled carnage you're about to witness. The Super Bowl, the World Series, they don't know what pressure is. In this building, it's either kill or be killed. You make no friends in the pits and you take no prisoners. 1 minute, you're up $500,000 in soybeans, and the next, boom, your kids don't go to college and they've repossessed your Bentley. Are you with me?
The Genesis Communication Network is proud to bring you Wall Street Raw with nationally recognized market timer and previous Wall Street Week elf, Mark Leibovit, welcoming you on board his financial time machine. And here is the elf himself, Mark Leibovit.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning. It's Mark Leibovit, and welcome to Wall Street Raw on this Saturday, bright Saturday, May 19th. No other day like it, and we always appreciate you tuning in on a Saturday morning. Obviously, you have other choices in a weekend, including financial programming. Many of you may know a little bit about me. Maybe you don't. I used to be one of the elves on the old Louis Rukeyser Wall Street Week television program way back. That show, I think, started way back in 1970, 72. I joined it in the late 80s, carried it into the 90s. You ask most young people today, they don't even know about the show at all. I guess you have to be a little bit of an old-timer, but that was one of the original shows in financial broadcasting, along with Paul Kangas, who I appeared with for 30 years as a market monitor guest on the Nightly Business Report. And again, not a familiar name to those who are new to the market, but basically from the 1970s until the late 1990s, these were the places to go for financial information. CNBC pretty much copied that. Really, the original name out there was a financial news network out in Ocean Boulevard in Santa Monica. And at the end of the show, as you probably recall, or if you don't, I close the show with a comment from Ed Hart, who used to be one of the leading commentators on the old financial news network, when he closed the show saying, "We will know in the fullness of time." And the show is sort of based on that time machine concept. You hear a little bit of the music during the show, and I have an affinity for that particular subject, which I'm not going to dwell on at this particular time, but there's more to the time machine than just the fact that I like the time machine. In any event, Ed Hart and the Financial News Network all got merged into CNBC, and everything changed over there. So I've been on CNBC for quite some time. I think last time I was on, maybe in the 90s, I pretty much blew my opportunity when I said I was going to write a book about how to do the opposite of CNBC and make money in the market. And I got to tell you that really does hold true. And whether it's a Jim Cramer or whether it's the trading show at the end of the day, just an example, and it just got my goat here the last few days. I mean, these guys, we were buying Bitcoin, for example, using the, it's not an ETF, it's a trust, ticker symbol GBTC. I've talked about that on the show numerous times. We've been trading this thing for a couple years. I believe it's a couple years. And this thing used to be, $40, $50 a share. It went up to $3,400 a share, and then they reverse split it 91 to 1, and we have it on and off on our recommended list. We'll talk about my products in just a moment. But in any event, we were, sort of trading it on the long side, and then suddenly this trading show, I think it's around 5 p.m. Eastern Time, that comes on every day on CNBC, start touting Bitcoin. And I said to myself, this is it. It's coming back down again. We had a nice little rally from around 6,000 up to almost 10,000, and they were just touting it to beat the band around that 9,500 or so area. And I said, I got to get out of this thing. And certainly at the same time, my technical work was saying something's wrong here. I started generating what I call negative volume reversals, and sure enough, it's been coming down since. Now, not to say it can't turn around. down, and we are watching the technical charts, but the CNBC turned out to be pretty much a contrary indicator, as it always tends to be. You know, these guys follow the trend. When their stocks are up, they're euphoric. When they're down, they're bearish. And I've been trained, and I was trained, you may or may not know a little bit about my background as well, but I used to be a floor trader on the old Chicago Board Options Exchange way back in the 1970s and late 70s, early 80s. And just the opposite. You know, you got to be buying on weakness, and you got to be selling into strength. And unfortunately, there's a lot of manipulation in the markets. It's been going on for decades. In fact, manipulation of the markets have probably gone on for thousands of years. That's really the truth of it. And you know, one of the manipulative practices of the stock market, of those quote-unquote operators that Jesse Livermore used to write about in his book, they would drive stocks up to unload them, and they would drive them down to buy them. In other words, hit the bids, drive the stocks down, come out with a bad news story, clean everybody out, pick up the stock, and at just the time you're selling or being told not to buy the stock. And just the opposite happens when they're trying to unload the stock. Good news, run the stock up, everybody jumps in, gets sucked in, and that obviously tells the tale there. Obviously, on a long-term basis, that may not apply, but certainly in the near or short-term markets, these are the type of things that go on. So, and along those lines, you know, I've created many services at VRTrader.com, and you should go there and check out what we have. One of the newer services is the VR Trading Addict, and well named, as we tend to be a little active in that service. And if you go to VRTrader.com, you can sign up for the VR Trading Addict. We try to put out a trade a day or a couple trades here and there with guidelines, whether stock breaks out or hits certain support areas that we need to get short as it starts to break down, and so forth and so on. So that's one you should check out. And we also launched along the lines of the new interest in blockchain and cryptocurrencies. And this has only lasted a couple, 3 weeks, the VR Crypto Letter. And we talk about the ICOs, internet coin offerings that are out there, a couple stocks that are related to the blockchain and the internet connection and the blockchain, and, of course, Bitcoin itself. So a lot of action. This is here to stay. It's not any passing phase. Major companies are acquiring blockchain technology. Countries are trying to employ it. There will be more of these cryptocurrencies coming out in the months and years ahead, despite the negative press that you might hear to the contrary. And the real reason for that on a governmental basis, frankly, is because, you know, there's a war on cash, and governments like to control our cash and control our freedom. So what if the Federal Reserve comes out with its own version of a Bitcoin and says, hey, don't worry about this, it's backed by the full faith and credit of the U.S. government, you don't need cash anymore, all you need to do is use this digital coin, and you don't need a checking account, you can do it on your iPhone or your Droid, and so forth and so on. That could be coming down the road here as a way to get rid of cash, because if we all have cash, we have a little bit more freedom, don't we? Because people don't know what we're doing. But the whole movement here, I think, in the Bitcoin scenario, obviously, is going to move toward that, unfortunately. So, you know, I'm very much on the libertarian side and want to protect our freedom, so I'm not too happy about that. I think the reason we've seen the cryptocurrencies emerge at all is because we want to be outside the system. And with the super debt crisis in Europe, and the pension crisis here in the United States, and the super amount of debt that's out there, and ultimately they're going to be big problems unless the government just continue to print forever and ever, which at some point, as you know, will collapse the whole system. But, you know, the coins are out there and give you another way to transfer buys and sells and your money without being, quote-unquote, in the banks or in the system. And sure enough, folks, you know, if there's a crisis, those banks could go down, and you know, your money isn't so safe in banks as you may think, despite the FDIC insurance claim. So the coins may be an ultimate insurance policy. And unfortunately for the gold bugs, it's really been frustrating for them. The coins have turned out to be a little bit of a hedge, and gold really hasn't done that well. And the move that we saw in Bitcoin is what the gold bugs, as you know, we're hoping to see in gold. Meanwhile, we have an interesting show for you today. Hopefully Sinclair Noel will join us, Henry Weingarten, Harry Boxer, Don VIALOUX. So we'll cover the markets with our great guests, and we want you to stay tuned here to Wall Street Raw, and we'll be back to you right after the break. Thanks again for joining us on this Saturday morning, May 19th.
You're listening to Wall Street Raw with Mark Leibovit. Go to wallstreetrawradio.com for information on Mark's newsletters and products. Stay tuned. Mark will be right back.
This is Dan Pilla. Do you owe the IRS money you can't pay? Are tax debts crippling you? I've defended people from the IRS for over 30 years. I've helped thousands, and I can help you too. I wrote the book on IRS settlement, and I'm telling you, there's no such thing as a hopeless case. Call 800-34-NO-TAX to finally get free of IRS debt. With the IRS's new programs, there's never been a better time to solve your problem. Call 800-34-NO-TAX. That's 800-34-NO-TAX, or my website, danpilla.com.
I tried other brands, but I came back to My Sunshine.
For the best hot or cold pain relief, get the best. Get a Sunny Bay heating pad.
Sometimes life can be a pain in the neck, or back, or shoulder.
And the best relief for that pain is a Sunny Bay heating pad. Did you know that the American College of Physicians said that one of the best ways to treat muscle pain is heat therapy? Sunny Bay heating pads are handmade with high quality, can be used at home or at work, and have a lifetime 100% positive rating on both Amazon and Etsy.
Why take another pill?
Many people use our Sunny Bay heating pads alone and got rid of the neck pain.
Long-distance travel or long hours in front of a computer can take its toll on your body.
Our homegrown small business tries to help people just like us. That's why we design and test our handmade products with great care before we introduce them to the public. You can easily find Sunny Bay heating pads on Amazon. Just go to Amazon.com and search for Sunny Bay heating pads.
This is Fred.
Hi, I'm Fred.
Fred's a repeater.
I tend to repeat.
Fred has a business.
I do have a business.
And a problem. Fred repeats the same tired advertising over and over, and now it doesn't work.
Over and over.
But Fred is about to see a vision.
I'm seeing a vision.
Advertising on the Genesis Communications Network is the smart way for Fred to reach his potential customers with the most affordable national advertising rates, period. Get started today with GCN, the Genesis Communications Network. Just email advertise@gcnlive.com.
Hunters, anglers, campers, and survivalists. Get back to nature. Expand your horizons with the highest quality, most versatile, unique slingshots and sling bows on the market at slingbow.com. Slingbow products are compact and models start from just $17.98. They're perfect for your bug-out bag or storing in your vehicle. Give yourself and your loved ones the excitement and tradition of Slingbow, a new frontier in archery and truly modern twist on this primitive survival tool. Feel the thrill only at slingbow.com.
Over the last 4 years, 3 of the biggest online precious metals dealers have gone bankrupt and their owners put in prison due to theft and fraud. Having previously purchased precious metals, can you be sure you purchased the right product? Did you receive proper advice? Or were you stung by one of these companies? Miles Franklin has been in business for 29 years without receiving any material customer or regulatory complaints ever. Maintaining an A+ Better Business Bureau rating and residing in Minnesota, the only state in America that regulates the precious metals industry, making doing business in precious metals with Miles Franklin the safest choice, bar none. Call us at 866-485-4346 and let us review your portfolio at no commitment whatsoever. Again, that's 866-485-4346. Get the peace of mind you deserve in working with a precious metals company with a reputation like Miles Franklin. Again, that's 866-485-4346. Miles Franklin Precious Metals, the name you can trust.
Fellow Patriots, my name is Todd Savage, founder of BlackRifleRealEstate.com. Like you, I was a prisoner of the alt-left sanctuary state until one day I chose to lead my family to freedom. Today we live on a sustainable 20-acre homestead where we shoot, hunt, garden, and homeschool our children without the tyranny of the nanny state looking over us. If you're ready to flee the city to the freedom of Idaho or Montana, our Black Rifle Real Estate team is here to help. Go to BlackRifleRealEstate.com. That's BlackRifleRealEstate.com.
Never show any sign of weakness. Always go for the throat. Buy low, sell high. Fear, that's the other guy's problem.
Welcome back to the Wall Street Raw Radio Show with Mark Leibovit, your time machine for the financial markets. Want to know more? Go to wallstreetrawradio.com. Now, here's the elf himself, Mark Leibovit.
Welcome back to Wall Street Raw on this Saturday, May 19th, and we have our lineup of guests in the green room here, so we want to get started with our very special guest who's very kind to join us each and every Saturday, Don VIALOUX from Toronto, who is the creator and blogger of two very important websites. One is equityclock.com, and the other is timingthemarket.ca. And I have to tell you, folks, I use this all the time. Just fabulous stuff. We have, technical work in the market, buy, sells, volume patterns, price patterns, but seasonality and cyclical patterns also tie very much into the equation. And I guess if you want to throw fundamentals in there too, you've got three very important factors in trying to analyze a stock trade or a sector trade. So we bring Don in because of his expertise in the seasonality area, which, by the way, you can retrieve by going to his websites and pulling up individual stocks and, individual market sectors, currencies, gold, silver, and so forth. Good morning, Don. Thank you again for joining us.
Thanks for having me back, Mark.
Okay, so despite the doom and gloom and my own fear that sell may go away is a factor, the market has been rallying the last 10 days or so here, coming off that low. How do you read the Canadian equity prices and U.S. prices playing into this time frame?
Yeah, it's been fascinating. Last week, the U.S. markets were slightly lower again. In contrast, the Canadian market continued to be very, very strong. In fact, as of Thursday, the TSE Composite Index had moved higher 10 days in a row. That's the best record since 2011.
Wow. And crude oil had a lot to do with that, I assume.
It has a lot to do with energy in general. The main reason for strength in the TSE Composite Index was the energy sector. It was up 4.5% in the week. Now look for energy stocks on both sides of the border to continue to move higher during their current period of seasonal strength, lasting until mid-June. Now, gassy stocks and related ETFs are particularly interesting. Natural gas inventories in the United States are near 5-year lows for this time of year. Following colder than average weather into the spring in the northern part of the United States when gas was used for heating purposes. Now, natural gas also is used to fuel power plants that generate energy needed for air conditioning. Temperatures in the northern United States have been higher than average in May and are forecast to remain higher than average into early summer. The result is that natural gas inventories are expected to reach multi-year lows, and natural gas prices are expected to move higher. In fact, on Friday, they actually reached a 3-month high. Higher natural gas prices could propel gassy stocks further to the upside.
And last couple of weeks, you gave us a ETF that tracks the natural gas. Which is that? What is that name again?
Yeah, the symbol is FCG, and it's a basket of gassy U.S. stocks, which should do very well under this kind of scenario.
So we're watching the NAFTA negotiations very closely. That's important. What's your read on that situation?
I guess the hope was that the NAFTA negotiations would be completed sometime by this week. Looks like things are being delayed, and that is having an impact on particularly in currency markets. We've seen the Canadian dollar weaken significantly late last week because nothing has been decided as yet. There's still a possibility during the next couple of weeks that some sort of agreement will be reached, but it's now looking more and more likely that NAFTA will be delayed until probably after the U.S. midterm elections and also the Mexican election.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's a lot of push to delay a lot of legislation. The Democrats, at least here, try and delay stuff in the hope that things change in the fall and they gain control of the House or Senate, which I don't personally think will happen. So there may be a lot of inaction in the next couple, 3 months. So the markets may just be choppy, or do we still subscribe to the sell may go away and feel like between now and the fall we could see another sell-off, or we just take it a day at a time and just assume that's just an adage and doesn't always apply? How do you read it?
What we see in the U.S. markets is the kind of short-term peak around the middle of April, and they've been kind of choppy ever since. They really haven't had a trend one way or the other. It's been interesting because last week we saw a number of major companies in the U.S. come out with their first quarter results. In most cases, the results were very, very strong. But in many cases, like in the cases last week, Disney and Cisco, we saw these stocks almost immediately come under selling pressures on news. That's not a good sign for markets going higher, that's for darn sure. It's typical of what happens when first quarter reporting season in the United States is pretty well over, and that's where we stand right now. There will be a few more earnings reports coming next week. I think there's about another 10% of S&P 500 companies have yet to report their first quarter results. But more and more we're starting to see choppy action, which is typical of what happens during the summer period from May to October. But most notably, it happens during midterm election years when all the political rhetoric starts ramping up and causes markets to go into an uncertain period.
What about the quote-unquote summer rally? Is that apply at all in your seasonal work?
Typically, when talking about summer rally, it happens just before the reporting of second quarter results. That's usually the first and second weeks in July. That's when you normally have a brief period of time during the May to October period where markets in the United States do have a tendency to slightly higher. But then after the middle of July, then U.S. equity prices tend to move lower. That's certainly the case in the U.S. It's most notably the case in Canada, where the period of seasonal weakness from May to October is stronger than in the U.S.
Don, we can't take off without your opinion on the gold market. Seasonal strength begins sometime this summer, correct?
That's correct, but we currently are in a period of seasonal weakness for gold and gold stocks, and we certainly saw that last week when the price of gold broke a short-term support level. Typically, gold and gold stocks bottom right around the beginning of July and move higher right through until approximately the end of September, beginning of October. So it's a little bit too early to get involved in that sector yet. You've had individual stocks performing quite well, but if you want to play the seasonal trade in gold and silver and precious metals in general, just be patient until we get closer to until July.
Don, I want to thank you so much for joining us. Don VIALOUX from EquityClock.com and TimingTheMarket.ca. And as always, he joins us here on Saturday mornings. Thank you. Have a great weekend, Don. Thank you.
Thank you, Mark.
Don't touch your dial. We'll be back after the break with our good friend, Harry Boxer.
Go to WallStreetRawRadio.com for more information on Mark's newsletters and products. Stay tuned. Mark will be right back.
High-performance investors and traders use superior financial tools to achieve superior returns. You have that tool with Mark Leibovit, nationally renowned top market timer, legendary television Wall Street Week elf, and nightly business report market monitor, who shares with you his unique market tools and commentary at WallStreetRaw.com. At WallStreetRaw.com, Mark provides you with his latest ideas on how to help build and protect your wealth and help you avoid the next big market crash. Mark has a special free gift for listeners of his Wall Street Raw radio show. Go to WallStreetRaw.com and sign up for his free monthly Cannabis Vice News Raw report. While there, go ahead and sign up for his free monthly Gold News Raw report. Both are totally free. No credit card information is required. Sign up today for your free Cannabis Vice News Raw and Gold News Raw reports at WallStreetRaw.com. That's WallStreetRaw.com.
This is a warning to all household pests, to all cockroaches, spiders, ants, mice, and rats. If you've made yourself at home in someone else's home, you'd better hope the owners never hear about Terminix. Because Terminix has the know-how and the means to do whatever it takes to remove you from that home. Terminix has 90 years of experience eliminating home invaders. And they make it easy for homeowners to be protected by offering a free pest estimate by calling 1-800-676-9879. Cockroaches, spiders, ants, mice, rats, and other pests. This is your last chance. With one call, Terminix will remove you from the home you've invaded. If you think you can simply come back later, think again. Terminix will never stop working to keep you out with a 100% satisfaction guarantee. Pests.
Wherever you are, I will find you.
Pests, you've been warned. Homeowners are calling Terminix right now for a free pest estimate. 1-800-676-9879. 1-800-676-9879. 30-day money-back guarantee at participating locations. Limitations apply. See plan for details.
Hello, I'm Mike Lindell, the inventor of MyPillow. And like all of you out there, I had problems sleeping. Pillows would go flat. I would flip-flop all night long. I would wake up with a sore neck, maybe a headache, or feel like I needed a nap even though I slept 8 hours. When I invented MyPillow, I wanted it to where you can move the patented fill to give you the exact support you need as an individual, regardless of sleep position. MyPillow will get you into that deep REM sleep faster, and you will stay there longer. It's not about how much time we spend in bed. It's about how much of that quality sleep we get. I do all of my own manufacturing right here in the United States. I have a 10-year warranty. You can wash and dry my pillow, and I give you a 60-day money-back guarantee, so you have nothing to lose. And here's my best offer ever. You can buy one of my pillows and get one absolutely free.
Go to mypillow.com or call 800-870-0305 and use promo code GCN. That's mypillow.com or 800-870-0305 with promo code GCN.
Have you checked your Google search results lately? Search results are usually the first impression that people form of you or your business, so make sure that they create a positive impression with ReputationDefender.com. What the internet says about you can have a big impact on your life and your livelihood, even if it's not true. Fortunately, you can now control how you look online and in online search results with ReputationDefender.com. Call 800-831-0771 now. That's 800-831-0771 for your free reputation analysis. If you have negative material from an ex-employee, upset patient, or former client, newspaper article, legal issue, social media, or other source showing up in your search results, you can combat it with ReputationDefender.com. Our dedicated experts in patented technology can help make your online search results look their best. Call 800-831-0771 to learn more. 800-831-0771. That's 800-831-0771. Or visit ReputationDefender.com.
Welcome back to Wall Street Raw. Want to know more about Wall Street Raw and the Leibovit VR newsletters? Go to wallstreetrawradio.com.
Welcome back to Wall Street Raw on this Saturday, May 19th. And as we do here, I often call the show my financial, political, spiritual, and musical time machine. So you hear a little bit of that in the intro music and the closing music. I've had a little fun with the show, and you know, I do believe in the Ten Commandments. So for those of you who question why it's there for a reason. In any event, our good friend Harry Boxer is kind enough to join us on this Saturday morning. There's a lot going on in the markets the last week or so. Many bears out there. We're convinced the market was going to collapse, and it's been rallying nicely in the last several sessions. And, of course, there's a lot of action in some individual stocks and sectors that we're going to talk about. Harry is with thetechtrader.com. If you want more information, go to thetechtrader.com. Good morning, Harry. Thank you for joining us on this Saturday morning.
You're welcome. And let me just say that last week when the markets were, a little bit heated, and there was so much negative
77% of the AAII investors were bearish, 23% bullish. When I see that, I think the market's going higher. Market never accommodates the majority. So, and sure enough, we went higher. Now, we've had a nice run up. We've got up to a level where there was overhead resistance about 2740 on the S&P, and now it's pulled back to 2700 pounds now for retesting. If we get below that 2700 area, we can get a much deeper retest. But the feeling here is that this is wave 4 consolidation. We have another thrust coming before we may get a more, important pullback. As we speak intraday today, this is Friday, of course, we're in the 2-day down channel, but I think the pullback that we're looking at right now is constructive enough to where we get a bounce. I would look out and follow the LABU, the ETF for the biotech industry. I told everybody this morning that after a 5-way pullback down there, 89.5, I expected a bounce. We're up to 92 plus and running. I just think the biotechs are going to lead the whole market higher this year. It's amazing with drug approvals being sped up and so many bullet breakouts in these biotech stocks. I've had this many swing trade recommendations in a long time, and about 80% of them biotech. I like little BKTX. I like CRSP, NERV I put out today, IOVA, Iovance, and little EBIO, which has changed its symbol. I think it's SNSS now or something like that. But there's a lot of tech and biotech stocks that are breaking out, so I'm not going to get bearish until I see a technical breakdown. We haven't got that just yet. Right. 6850 is the key short-term support on the NASDAQ 100. We're 30 points above it right now.
Well, in the biotech sector, you could call GW Pharmaceutical one of my favorite stocks, which broke out to new all-time highs here. Biotech, in a way, correct? So they're on the run. And, Absolutely. And you've been calling for some really high numbers. You've been calling for what? Moved to nearly 200 in this stock, right?
Well, if you look at the long-term pattern, it's basically been in the base for almost 2 years now. If you look at it since a year and a half, since October of 2016. It's been trading between a low of in the 90-100 range and a high in the 140 range. It's broken above that now. So my target is 195-200 on this move.
Yeah, that's what it looks like. And they have some drug approvals coming up for their cannabinoid products. But speaking of cannabinoid, we have the big marijuana stocks on the move here, which you and I have talked about for the last couple of years. So let's talk about the big one.
Look, I think the one thing about TWMJF, which is, by the way, going to be, I don't know if you heard, but they're going to be listed on the New York Stock Exchange as symbol CGC. That's changing to CGC, Canopy Growth Corp. Did you know that? I bet you didn't know that.
I didn't know that, but thank you. Thank you for reminding me.
Okay. So, to make a long story short, when you look at the overall structure of the pattern, after a huge run-up in 5 waves, the stock literally went 5 to 37. I told all my people, sell it in the mid-30s. Now that it's consolidated for several months, it looks like it might be breaking back again. I'm going to look for a move back up to 30, 31, and maybe as high as 35 before, believe it or not, reaching the high 40s to 50 on my intermediate target. This could be a double or at least an 80% gain if we get any kind of upside environment. Today it's at 2.4 million already, which is the best in about a month and a half. So I think this could be the breakout day. We'll have to follow that. Also, ACBFF, the other one, not quite as strong, but in a similar pattern. I'd keep my eyes on that one for a move over 630 and then 7.5. If it goes down, we could see 10, 12 again or more. And finally, CRON is another little one I like. That one is very similar. They're all in these large coiling patterns, good technicals. That one needs to get over 685 and then take out 8 before that thing has a big run up to the 10, 12 range. But bottom line is all three look good. I like TWMJF, the industry leader, the best.
Right, that's the big name. That's the blue chip. The way GW, I guess, is the blue chip on this side of the border. TW is the blue chip in Canada. So it's definitely in play. We know that, and we got the legalization coming up in Canada in September. Originally, it was supposed to be July, and they delayed it. But what's happening, Harry, the consolidation in the industry is incredible. The multi-billion-dollar deals that are occurring, so they're gobbling each other up. So that could be big plus here for those who are playing the sector.
Chris, there's a lot of low-price stocks that are moving. The IWM, most people may not understand this. This is the ETF for the Russell 2000. Made a new all-time high. market, the low-price stocks take off. And this is typical because there's not a lot of ideas out there that aren't $500 or $1,000 anymore. Anything that's got any legitimacy to it, and even then, even if they don't. But as long as the chart patterns are breaking out with volume, these stocks can make a run here. Number one, most low-price stocks have gotten some pretty decent short positions. You could be seeing a squeeze there. Number two, the tax cuts for corporations are really more affecting the lower or smaller stocks, smaller companies than they are the larger firms. At least that's what I'm hearing. And as a result, we're starting to see some real upside in the low-price stocks. I put out a few recently. AQMS is one that we like. It's up 12% today, but it has a nice, interesting low-price stock. BKTX we mentioned. I like KOPN. I think that's going to be a rock star this year. I'm looking for 100 to 200% higher, trading about 330. I think it could be 6-7 this year and 10 to 12 next year. So there's some low-price ideas.
Right. I'm looking at the IWM, which, as you know, is the Russell 2000 ETF. That's into new bull market highs.
All-time highs, right. And which is amazing. Ahead of price, ahead of the S&P, NBX, transports, all of it. The small-cap stocks actually leading here for the first time in a long time, and that's very intriguing to me. But dangerous in that it could be telling that one more big leg up, and this market could be done for a bit. I don't think 2019 is going to be a wonderful year for stocks. That's my opinion. Well, but we'll see. That's too far down the road. My Elliott Wave analyst and buddy Avi Gilbert concurs with that. He thinks 3,000 S&P, but then down goes Frazier.
I know you love that expression. That's cool. I love that one. So I want to thank Harry Boxer for joining us, squeezing us in here during trading hours on Friday. If you want more information, please go to thetechtrader.com. And Harry, you still have that 2-week trial, free trial, right?
Free trial, 2-week free trial. You have all the services on my website for free with no credit card necessary. As it said, what can it hurt? I think what Trump said. How can it hurt?
Harry,
take a chance.
Thank you for joining us, Harry Boxer. And don't touch the dial, folks. We'll be back after the break.
You are listening to Wall Street Raw with Mark Leibovit. Go to wallstreetrawradio.com for information on Mark's newsletters and products. Stay tuned. Mark will be right back.
High-performance investors and traders use superior financial tools to achieve superior returns. You have that tool with Mark Leibovit, nationally renowned top market timer, legendary television Wall Street Week elf, and nightly business report market monitor, who shares with you his unique market tools and commentary at wallstreetraw.com. Here, Mark provides you with his latest ideas on how to help build and protect your wealth and help you avoid the next big market tsunami. Mark has a special free gift for listeners of his Wall Street Raw radio show. Go to wallstreetraw.com and sign up for his free monthly Cannabis Vice News Raw report. While there, go ahead and sign up for his free monthly Gold News Raw report. Both are totally free. No credit card information is required, and no one will call. Sign up today for your free Cannabis Vice News Raw report and Gold News Raw report at wallstreetraw.com.
Were you born before the year 1956? If so, did you know you could be collecting between $575 and $2,200 in tax-free income right now? All thanks to the FHA. Or what about this? Did you know 54 U.S. congressmen have used a special tax-free account to earn up to 35 times more on their money? It's true, and you can do it too. These are just two of the secrets revealed inside a stunning new book from the Palm Beach Research Group and Ted Benna, the man behind the 401k. You'll discover the 18 best cash cows that can help you earn up to an extra $6,800 a month. Just go to 501kbook.com right now. If you're at or near retirement, this book is a must-read. You can get your own free copy. Shipping and handling charges apply. Just go to 501kbook.com right now while there are still copies left. That's 501kbook.com. 501kbook.com. Just go to 501kbook.com right now.
Healthcare reform is confusing, but whether it's finding an affordable insurance plan, keeping your doctor, or being able to afford needed prescriptions, navigating the healthcare system has become a challenge. Control your own healthcare costs and choices with Liberty HealthShare. Liberty HealthShare is not insurance. It is an association of self-pay patients who unite with like-minded people to share the cost of each other's medical needs. Neighbor helping neighbor. Learn more now by going to libertyoncall.org. That's libertyoncall.org.
Normal blood pressure, naturally. How would that make you feel?
I'm Don from New Mexico. January of 2000, I had a heart attack. Then my real health began going downhill. I had high blood pressure, diabetes, poor vision. I wasn't sleeping well. I was a mess.
Don reports dramatic improvements with Heart and Body Extract.
I started taking Heart and Body Extract. From within a few days, I started sleeping better. My blood pressure normalized. My diabetes normalized. My sleep improved.
Experience these benefits and more when your body heals itself with the assistance of Heart and Body Extract. Order at hbextract.com or call 866-295-5305. That's hbextract.com or call 866-295-5305.
And folks, I did not expect this at all. By the 7th, 8th, and 9th day, I saw dramatic improvements from taking Heart and Body Extract.
Heart and Body Extract comes with a 100% ironclad money-back guarantee. Details at hbextract.com or call 866-295-5305 for Heart and Body Extract.
Bacon lovers, we ship free. Try our amazing bacon. No refrigeration required. Proprietary value-added packaging provides 10-year shelf life and protects the leanest, thickest, center-cut, fully cooked bacon in America today. Ready to eat right from the pouch or warm and serve. Savory and delicious. Wholesale price for your everyday use. Order today at readytoeatbacon.com. readytoeatbacon.com.
Responsibility begins and ends with our partners and our shareholders, and that's it.
There is no freedom without the law.
Get it? Got it? Good.
Welcome back to Wall Street Raw and the final segment with Mark Leibovit. Now, here's the elf himself.
Welcome back to Wall Street Raw. It's Saturday, May 19th, and we have our good friend Sinclair No from KFNN 1510 Phoenix and author of the incomparable blog EatTheBankers.com joining us. And as we do, we hope to do each week, it's that special time.
It's time for another edition of Banks Behaving Badly.
Welcome, Sinclair. Thank you for joining us.
Good morning. Always a pleasure.
So have you seen the TV ads for Wells Fargo, Sinclair?
Oh, yeah, I love them. They flash up there on the screen. Established 1852, reestablished 2018.
Now, what's that about?
Well, yeah, Wells Fargo has a long history. They were established in 1852, but they're saying here they're not really reestablished in 2018. They're just saying, hey, we realize we made some mistakes. And they're trying to correct those mistakes and come out with a fresh start. They're looking for a fresh start after all these years of scamming their customers. The only problem is they're still scamming their customers.
Okay.
Which gets to be a little bit old after a while.
What's new on the scam list? What's new on the scam list?
The latest is the Wells Fargo's wholesale unit. Now, this is separate from its retail bank. Added or altered information without customers' knowledge. The information that they added to these business accounts ranged from Social Security numbers to addresses to the birthdays of people associated with the business banking clients. And this happened in 2017 and in early 2018 after apparently they'd already been reestablished as a new company that wasn't going to scam people anymore. The reason it was done, now this is where it really gets fun. They were trying to meet a deadline to comply with a regulatory consent order related to the bank's anti-money laundering controls. So what this tells us is that their anti-money laundering controls were not under control And so to try to comply, they just started making up stuff willy-nilly, out of thin air, which is the kind of thing that you don't want to do when it relates to anti-money laundering. That kind of defeats the whole purpose. This tells us that they don't have their anti-money laundering under control at all. They're not able to comply with regulations. And when they aren't, they just cheat. They lie. They scam people again and again and again. Now, when they did catch this, they did report it to the Office of the Comptroller of the Currency. That's the agency that's in charge of the probe on this particular problem. And we have this situation of the bank putting out these advertisements saying, please forgive us. We know we made a mistake. But they continue to make the mistakes. So I say, how many times do we forgive someone? How many times do we forgive? And, there is some guidance on this. This is a question that has been asked time and time again throughout history. One answer is, do you forgive somebody 7 times? And the most magnanimous answer would be no, not 7 times, 77 times. Well, I don't know what the count is for Wells Fargo, but I think they're getting really close to their limit.
Is that biblical?
Yes, it is. That's paraphrasing some scripture there.
Okay, well, that fits the format of the show real well. Well, thank you. I appreciate that one. But the point is, it just never ends. You know the story. They're never going to go after the banks in a serious way, or at least they're not going to prosecute anyone. So that's the story.
No, it's just not going to happen. But the point as well is, at some point, don't you do something? They're under regulation. They can't grow any bigger at this point until they get control of their problems. But they don't seem to be getting control of their problems. At some point, don't you step in and say, look, you really need to change things? Don't we really need something to take place here? Didn't we learn anything from the problems of 2008? Actually, this is a question that was asked this week by Pope Francis. Pope Francis put out a fairly scathing position paper on Thursday. The Vatican went after the credit default swap market, CDS, for its role in the financial crisis of 2008, saying that these things are essentially ticking time bombs, ready to, sooner or later to explode, poisoning the health of the markets. Says that they're basically bets against people. They're bets on people failing, and said that global regulators have lost their grip on the shadow banking system. And they've lost their grip on the banking system in the case of Wells Fargo. So we have a problem here where we didn't learn the lessons from 2008. We didn't realize that we've got to have some control over this. And the only thing I can say is that, and the Vatican brought this up, and I'm not trying to promote the Vatican because they've had their own financial problems over the years. But they made a suggestion to consumers: vote with your wallet. Vote with your wallet. This is how you can make a difference in the markets in a way a concrete way that will promote the well-being of all of us, and rejecting what harms the markets and all of us. We need good markets, and I think we can all agree to that. We need markets that are functioning, transparent, provide value to everyone. We don't need markets that basically cheat and scam and lie and steal. And we're seeing that come out again this past week with an old failure and a reminder from none other than Pope Francis.
Well, political change is occurring around the world because there's dissatisfaction with government, and maybe indirectly, with the bank system too. We had those Malaysian elections, surprised everybody with a 92-year-old fellow who was a former leader coming back. Italy had some elections kicking out the establishment, so maybe it's filtering out to the populace on a different level.
Maybe. I don't know how it all plays out. Sometimes the response can be a bit crazy as well. You know, these are tumultuous times. Like Brexit, it all fits in, you know. Yeah. And we don't know how that's all going to work out. Maybe it'll bring about some good, maybe not. Time will tell.
Well, we know the European Union
is the fullness of time.
Right. We know the European Union is angry with Trump, so you know, it's all the stuff going on here with the European Union. Donald Tusk went after Trump this week. And we've got the threats of trade war with China and so forth, but the EU leaders were meeting and basically saying that on trade, they say the EU will not negotiate unless the U.S. grants a permanent exemption from tariffs on steel and aluminum. It looks like we could be headed for a trade war with the Euro Union. We've been talking about China, we've been talking about NAFTA, all these things. Don't forget the Euro Union. That's our biggest trading partner. Well, a lot of dissent with regard to both political and economic views here between what Trump is trying to accomplish and what everybody else believes is right. So we don't have time to dwell on all that, so we're going to say goodbye to our good friend Sinclair No from KFNN 1510 Phoenix, and author of the incomparable blog, eatthebankers.com. Sinclair, you're so kind to take a few moments with us each week, and I really appreciate your treatise on Wells Fargo. That was really profound. Thank you. Great. Thank you, Mark. Well, folks, thank you again for joining us here on Wall Street Raw, and please join us again next Saturday. We'll do our best to bring you a list of very interesting and provocative guests, and as we do, we close our show each week with what Ed Hart used to say on the old Financial News Network when he said, as we said, we will know in the fullness of time.
Thank you for listening to Wall Street Raw with nationally recognized market timer and previous Wall Street Week Out, Mark Leibovit. If you missed any of today's show or to get in touch with Mark, please go to wallstreetradio.com. Any stocks or investment discussed on Wall Street Raw are not in any way a recommendation or solicitation to buy, sell, or hold. We first recommend you seek out a licensed financial professional for advice. Go to wallstreetrawradio.com for more information on Mark's newsletters and products.
High-performance investors and traders use superior financial tools to achieve superior returns. You have that tool with Mark Leibovit, nationally renowned top market timer, legendary television Wall Street Week elf, and nightly business report market monitor, who shares with you his unique market tools and commentary at wallstreetraw.com. At wallstreetraw.com, Mark provides you with his latest ideas on how to help build and protect your wealth and help you avoid the next big market crash. Mark has a special free gift for listeners of his Wall Street Raw radio show. Go to wallstreetraw.com and sign up for his free monthly Cannabis Vice News Raw report. While there, go ahead and sign up for his free monthly Gold News Raw report. Both are totally free. No credit card information is required. Sign up today for your free Cannabis Vice News Raw and Gold News Raw reports at wallstreetraw.com. That's wallstreetraw.com. This is Fred.
Hi, I'm Fred.
Fred's a repeater.
I tend to repeat.
Fred has a business.
I do have a business.
And a problem. Fred repeats the same tired advertising over and over, and now it doesn't work.
Over and over.
But Fred is about to see a vision.
I'm seeing a vision.
Advertising on the Genesis Communications Network is the smart way for Fred to reach his potential customers with the most affordable national advertising rates, period. Get started today with GCN, the Genesis Communications Network. Just email advertise@gcnlive.com.
It's a no-brainer. A Big Berkey water filter is the one you need, period. You need a water filter that removes chlorine, fluoride, pharmaceuticals, BPA, and other endocrine disruptors, pesticides, bacteria, viruses, and much more, right? And does it all at only 2 cents per gallon. Get the original and most trusted name in gravity water filtration, Big Berkey. And now GCN listeners receive 5% off ceramic filter systems using code GCN. Call or click 1-877-99-BERKEY.